Welcome, I am Ralph Michaels. This is Gold Sheet's fourth highest rated team from their 2024 summer power ratings. It is probably a surprise for some people, the Alabama Crimson Tide. We'll talk about their odds. We'll look back at last year's team. We'll take a look at the 2024 team, break down the schedule, and as always, end it with the bettor's edge. Guys, we're just into team number 4. We're going to be doing at least the top 25 plus some group of 5 teams. Anything you want added, please comment below. Anything you'd rather see instead of some information I'm giving you, please comment below. And as always, we certainly appreciate each and every one of you when you like our videos. We appreciate you taking the time to watch and find out why 160,000 people are Wager Talk TV subscribers, because as soon as I load team number 5, you will be notified. Let's talk about Alabama. National championship odds, 14-1. SEC championship odds, 8-1. To make the playoffs, yes is even money, no minus $1.30. Their season win total, 9.5. The over, you're actually plus 120. The under, you're minus 140. To go undefeated, plus 800 for yes, minus 1,600 for no, and Jalen Milroe in the Heisman contention at 14-1. Now, it's always important to know what kind of team you had the year before so you can make a proper assessment for this upcoming season. Let's take a look at Bama in 2023. They, of course, started the season with a loss to Texas. They won a lot of close games throughout the stretch. They beat Georgia 27-24 in the SEC title game and then lose to Michigan by 7 points. Now, when I look at Bama's season, their 10-2 record is actually better than they performed in my mind. Remember, they were tied against South Florida, 3-3 at the half. They trailed Ole Miss. They trailed A&M, and they trailed Tennessee all at the half, and they came back to win those games. So there are +3 close wins when you compare the close wins and close losses. That's something that is a bit of a concern for me. And probably the most, if not one of the top 10 most shocking stats in all of college football last year, Alabama allowed 48 sacks. That was number 129 in college football. Only Northwestern, Colorado, and Old Dominion were worse. That's something that has to get better. So we'll take a look at the 2024 team and see what we expect. Now, again, Alabama is our number 4 team, but our 4, 5, and 6 teams are very close, and they could easily be flipped. Part of the reason we have Alabama ahead of our number 5 team, which I'll just tell you now is Texas, is, again, when you can win double-digit wins for over a decade each and every year. Yes, you have a new coach, but you still have that mentality and that built-in win thought process. Now, Texas on the flip side, just to give you a little preview, it's tough going to a new conference, especially when you're going to the SEC, prepping for all those teams, visiting stadiums new for the first time. So that's part of the reason we do have Alabama here at number 4. Their 2024 team. Let's take a look at our conference cheat sheets. You see them on the very top. It sort of gets lost. I highlight them in black. We have them as a 6 power rating. So we do have them as 6 points behind Georgia, who was our number 1 team. Returning starters, only 8, 4 on each side of the ball. That makes them number 98 in returning production. They do have their quarterback back, new head coach, new OC, new DC. But again, their recruiting is always stellar. Number 2 behind Georgia in the conference and number 2 in the country. The news, of course, Nick Saban left, and there were a plethora of players that also departed after his retirement. But they also brought in talented players once DeBoer was named. Now, Alabama did lose 3 of the top 6 transfers from some ratings. 2 of those were starters. Those are tough to lose. When DeBoer got named as the head coach, they then added 3 of the top 30 players in the transfer portal. So, we look at those numbers and they do even out to a degree. We talk about what teams returned in the past to know if this is a unique situation or they're used to this. Well, the last 3 years, Alabama has only returned 10, 13, and 11 starters. So they're used to losing a lot of people in the draft. We know Bama has been one of the teams that has supplied the NFL with the most players throughout the year. Well, they lost 10 more players in the draft. That's a significant number. And when you look at my draft points lost, it was 41. That was top 3 in the country. But again, this is Alabama, and they reload. The last 3 years, again, they lost 41 points last year. They lost 47 points the previous year, 37 points 2 years ago, and they lost an amazing 58 points 3 years ago. So this team knows how to bring talent in and turn that talent into a positive mode. Now, we say Bama knows how to do that, and we have to remember Saban is gone, but I am a big fan of Kalen DeBoer. When he was an OC at Fresno State, then an OC at Indiana, then he went to be the head coach at Fresno, and then went to be the head coach at Washington. Everywhere he went, he has been a winner. He's brought his OC with him. He's got some strong DCs. So again, I'm expecting him to continue part of this mold. I know he cannot fill Saban's shoes, but I think he'll be very close, and I do like the way he's built talent. Remember, he took over a team at Washington that has had a losing season and then came back and had a great first year. He gets his teams ready to play. I'm an O-line guy. Well, O-line, again, allowed 48 sacks. FYI, the school record prior to last year was only 43 sacks allowed. That is an embarrassment. They returned 3 starters. They did lose 2 quality starters, but we're really going to count that like only 1 lost starter because they picked up the center from Washington. He started all 15 games for the Huskies last year under DeBoer, and he was a freshman All-American. I think he actually improves Alabama's O-line with some of those snapping issues out of the way. Again, there's a culture here. Double-digit wins for 16 straight years. From every player and every coach, that's something that does carry on. When we look at Alabama's units this year, Alabama does not have a top 1 or top 2 rating in any of Phil Steele's SEC unit rankings. Their highest unit ranking is number 3 for their DBs and their quarterback, and their linebacker core is likely the next best unit. So why do we have them this high? Well, again, it goes down to having an improved O-line, having an O-line that has to give up fewer than 48 sacks, having an experienced quarterback, and this coaching staff, again, although they are new, we give them quite a bit of credit. Now, I will say this. We do a roundtable for the Gold Sheet Power Ratings. Alabama was the biggest difference among all those participated. So it could be Alabama's only a top 10 team. It could be they fill in these rankings. The preseason rankings are so much harder with the transfer portal that you have to be careful, analyze each team, and be very quick to change those power ratings at the beginning of the year if those transfers meld and play together well. And if they don't, this team, again, can be maybe only the 4th best team in the SEC. Right now, we think they'll be among the top 3, and again, we have them rated here. Let's take a look at the 2024 schedule. It is a difficult schedule. It is actually number 16 as far as our numbers go for the 2024 season. You see they have a non-conference game at Wisconsin. You have Georgia. You have to go to Tennessee. You have to go to LSU. And you have to go to Oklahoma. In the schedule, we highlighted all of those games that have a line of a touchdown or less, either as a favorite or a dog. Their other games, take a look. The lowest spread they have is 11, 12 at Wisconsin, 18 at Auburn. So let's take a look at those 4 games. Against Georgia, we project they'll be a 3-point dog. Against Tennessee, we project them to be a 6-point favorite. At LSU, a 2-point favorite, and at Oklahoma, a 3-point favorite. So again, we have them favored in all but one game, but going on the road for those 3 tough games, they'll need a healthy Monroe, they'll need a solid O-line, and they'll need their defense to continue to do what they've done in the past. Now, I do want to mention that you look and you might say, well, look, Alabama's got a bye before Georgia and a bye before you go to LSU. That is exactly what you want. Actually, that advantage is negated because both Georgia and LSU have a bye the week prior. So what you think by looking at the schedule is a great scheduling spot, again, negated with the opposing team having a bye as well. And let's finish it off with the bettor's edge. Is there some situation here I like from the numbers we talked about at the beginning, or taking a look at the schedule? And I am going to pull out the Tennessee game on October the 19th, There are Game of the Year lines up already at DraftKings. We're doing this video on June 28th, so the odds we started this video with were from DraftKings for that day. They obviously change throughout the year. But their Game of the Year line, which is a bettable line right now, is Alabama -2.5 at Tennessee. Again, if you go back to where we had our schedule, we project them to be a 6-point favorite. The game before Tennessee, Bama has South Carolina. They're going to be a 22-point favorite. 2 games before, they're at Vanderbilt as a 32-point favorite. So this young team will have experience. It'll be their 3rd road game, and I think that's the number 1 spot on the schedule to bet the Crimson Tide for the 2024 year. Couple other notes betting the Alabama Crimson Tide. I'm not going to give you a lot of Alabama numbers because it is a new coaching staff, but I did go back and look at Kalen DeBoer. He is 11-1-1 against the spread versus non-conference foes. He doesn't mind getting those early season blowouts. Washington, again, the first year he went to Washington, they were 4-8 prior to him coming. His first season as a coach, they improved to 11-2. And this is a Bama stat. I'm just going to throw it out there. We'll keep an eye to see what happens. With a total of 58.5 or lower, Bama is actually 12-2-1 to the over. Again, their offense did get productive late in the year. Their defense, not quite the stop units they have been in some of those situations. So again, if they have those low totals, we'll keep an eye on the over in those Bama games. Guys, I've got a great promo for you. Gold Sheet is the finest football newsletter available. You can go to goldsheet.com or go to Wager Talk. The current season price, $159. Use the coupon code GS30. Save $30 off the subscription to Gold Sheet for the year. And I certainly am enjoying doing these Gold Sheet top 25s. If you're interested in my college football early bird, it's just $499 now at Wager Talk. Head there. My shortcut to my homepage, wt.buzz/RM. Again, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to Wager Talk TV. Please give us a comment, and I'll be back with Gold Sheet's number 5 team.